What bro? Sorry, I haven't unloaded my stash. I mean, my inventory here. Had no time to do that. Anyhow, let's go and fulfill our main quest. After all, it's sundown. Yeah, I thought that we could just use some.
What do you want?
I told you, I just wanted to use some parkouring.
Viva Toussaint!
Damn! How much for your wounds?
A lot. The most fun you can have with your clothes.
Russians!
When the clock strikes 6, ladies start to work their lips.
Too bad that it's not glowing when it has 0 charges. Because I like this glow. Oh yes. Dominique Gonsierovsky loved accounting tables. That was the death of her. Pavel Sasko, a man of small stature and enormous spirit, was a hardy and fierce dancer. Sadly, he forgot to eat and perished. Karolina Stahira, what's the pleasure in slaughtering a weakling? You wish to draw blood draws from a king. Nice.
Regis!
Damn it. Locked. No way I got the place wrong. This is it. Gotta be. Gotta be another way in around here.
this looks dangerous. Annabella and Guidon de la Tour, art patrons killed by poison apple. I don't want to dive in some hole. But if we got it, we got it.
Decaying bones. Kikimores must have tunneled into the grave. Kikimore eggs. Need to incinerate these to ash. Stench.
Incredible, right? You can see a light or two. That's creepy.
There's something here. Need to use the eye. Interesting.
Cassius Flares. It's not bad. It's not good either. A knight's oath. Here rests Sir Raymond of Gichon. On my grave you will not find the likeness of the man who once lived. I gave my heart, soul and body to the knightly craft, and I wish to be remembered as a knight. The symbol of chivalry is a naked sword, and that symbol rests above me. The sword that defended my honor, my friends, and my heart. The sword that was closer to me than a brother. The sword that was never stained by the blood of an innocent man. Let it rest on this stone through the ages. And we just looted it, right? Interesting.
Agreed to meet a vampire at a cemetery. How much more cliché can you get?
Nothing comes readily to mind.
Could have left the door unlatched.
What of my privacy? I value it rather deeply. Unmolested, especially by unwanted guests, that's my preferred state. Besides, I knew you'd find a way to get in.
True enough. Need to find your friend. I'm hoping you'll agree to help.
I shall do whatever's in my power. Yet what you want or even need must matter little. What matters is what Dettlaff wants. If he does not wish to be found, you will not find him. Ever. End of story.
Come on. Gotta be some way.
Vampires can evade detection by the senses, and no divination magic works on us. Even the most precise megascope would be useless.
And this? Could this help?
Wherever did you get that?
Off one of the beast's victims, found by a bend in the river. Body was chopped in pieces. 3 of those pieces were hands. Hand with the ring seemed the odd one out. Abruxa had taken an interest in it.
It's Dettlaff's hand, without a doubt. It will do splendidly.
Ring's pretty intriguing. Made of no metal I've ever seen. And the ornamentation.
It comes from our home, where we lived before the conjunction of spheres. It's actually mine. I received it from a dear old friend. You might call him a humanist. He saw us vampires as guests here, guests who owe their hosts, meaning you humans and the elder races, respect.
Respect? Meaning not to treat us like cattle to be slaughtered for food.
Precisely. And the reason why I in turn gave it to Dettlaff. To remind him of the ideals my old friend championed.
The hand. What do you plan to do with it?
You've heard of Kovinaris' theory of tissue memory retention.
Rings a distant bell. Read about it in Alchemia Oblitera. There's a copy at Kaer Morhen, tattered, nearly disintegrated. But if memory serves, Kovinaris never managed to prove it worked.
He did prove it, just never managed to publish his findings. He and I corresponded, you see, after we became friends. Thus, I know he completed his research and performed the first tests. It's complicated, so without delving into details, it is possible to use any piece of tissue to reconstruct what a whole body experienced.
How's it work? We need any special equipment?
We must brew a decoction which Kovinaris gave a rather poetic name, resonance. Once imbibed, it sends one into a trance similar to that induced by narcotics. This triggers visions of events linked to strong emotions experienced by the tissue's owner. Picture it as dreaming a fragment of someone's life.
Any chance we might see what Dettlaff was doing just before he lost his hand?
Indeed. Though I also hope resonance will reveal the location of Dettlaff's hideout.
Can't you just summon Dettlaff? You're both hired vampires, there's gotta be a way.
If I'm to be entirely candid, there is indeed one. But believe me, we will be better off never availing ourselves of it. It is a last resort. Absolutely.
Last resort? The hell? Why?
There is a being who can summon Dettlaff. Possesses the authority, even the power, to force him to appear in a given place. But the very act of contacting this being, well, it's akin to walking a slack line extended over a chasm filled with molten lava. An exercise as perilous to me as it would be to you. A risk I'm unwilling to take. I beg you, let's do it my way. It will be both quicker and easier.
Kovinaris spent half his life proving his theory. Wild guess. Making a dose of resonance won't be easy.
You guessed correctly. In addition to Dettlaff's tissue, we shall need a powerful occipital lobe stimulant. Effectively a poison, to make one susceptible to visions.
Well, got a few ingredients to choose from. Unfortunately, all are pretty rare. There's Mamoon glands, but closest ones I know of are in Vizima. The spotted white saliva would also serve, but they were cold to extinction over a century ago. Could go with a kobold's eyes, but the creatures are sentient. Rather not gouge one's eyes out.
Given that we lack the time to sleuth this out ourselves, permit me to summon some help.
was that?
A raven? Rather a common sight at this latitude. Very intelligent fowl. I asked him to look for the creatures you mentioned, him and his brethren. Perhaps they'll find one in the area, and I would hazard that a flock of ravens will spy any said creature faster than a solitary witcher would. With all due respect to your skills, my friend. It will take them some time, nonetheless, so perhaps you'd care for a snifter of mandrake.
Rarely say no to a snifter.
Sadly, this is but a weak infusion rather than a proper distillate.
Even better. I remember your mandrake hooch. Made people say things they'd have rather kept to themselves.
Now, what could Geralt of Rivia prefer to keep to himself?
I really have no idea. He's actually a friendly guy. He's a bro, actually, yeah, indeed. Why wouldn't we want to talk to him? So let's take 3, I guess.
Everyone's got some secret.
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe it wise at times to share one's secrets, unburden oneself to those one can trust.
This your sophisticated way of asking me if I trust you?
I prefer almost always to ask you directly. It seems a test of intelligence, one you just passed.
Maybe you should go first. Reveal one of your secrets. After all, you vampires lead very interesting lives.
Anything in particular interest you?
Curious what you did after you were reborn.
As I'm sure you can surmise, at first I was thoroughly absorbed with recovering. As it is, I've still not recovered completely. Yet I was so weak the first year that I could not stand or move on my own. Detlef bore my weakness bravely, showed great patience. If not for him, I wouldn't be here, and I'd have regenerated far slower. Once I could at last stand unassisted, I set off for Bruges, from my one-time home of Dillingen. There I led the peaceful life of a rural healer and surgeon, enjoying my neighbours' respect and, in fact, constituting the exact opposite of the monstrous vampire the populace imagines.
Bruges, you say? Rebirth make you sentimental?
Perhaps a dash. But what of you? Where have you been? Ever find your Cirilla?
Back then, yeah. But we parted again soon after. And when the time was ripe, she came back. Defeated the Wild Hunt together.
Ooh. Seems I certainly missed quite a bit while I was absent.
True enough. But it's a conversation we'll have another time. Need to know more about you now. Gotta ask you the big question. One everyone wonders about. What happens after death?
You wish me to tell you if the human belief in the gods is well founded? Well, that I do not know. We vampires differ exceedingly from you humans. Our matter, that of which we are composed, can exist without form. We require neither a heart, nor a brain, nor air to breathe.
But were you dead?
As humans understand death, yes.
Feel anything? Understand anything?
It's rather hard to explain. I felt something very unsettling. Something I cannot even name, for I did no reasoning. Only after rebirth did I begin to understand that what I had felt was cold and unimaginable fear. If not for Detlef, I might have drowned in an eternity of icy terror.
Can't have been alive then. Sheesh, experience like that must be vicious.
Indeed, it's hard to compare to anything I know. Yet you are aware we don't see death as you do. The way you cling to life, we find it entirely peculiar. You are mortals, ergo it's a foregone conclusion. You will die. It's but a question of time. Thus, I often find myself wondering why you try so very hard. To die at 20 years, 40, even 100, what's the difference? They're all but the blink of an eye.
Depends on your point of view. Man who's got 1,000,000 crowns to spend can't possibly understand one who's only got 20.
Very true. One's outlook can indeed change much.
Got a new life, a new body. That give you a new start, blank slate?
Starting all anew is a very broad concept. What exactly do you mean?
Your blood addiction, say. Wondering if your body's the same, if it still remembers. Maybe if you drank now, you wouldn't get hooked.
All addictions are a form of slavery. Re-addiction's not a risk I'm willing to take, just to test a hypothesis about corporeal regeneration and whether propensities carry over.
Fair enough. Curiosity, that's all. Sorry.
Not to worry, Geralt. Curiosity is a natural reaction under the circumstances, apart from which I've always valued that trait in you.
Always fascinated me the way vampires can regenerate. A hand growing back is one thing, but Detloff recreating you out of a wet smear? Something else entirely.
A difficult and laborious process, but one that's possible, as my presence proves. But I've heard you too had quite the adventure. They say you lost your memory.
For a bit, but Triss helped me get it back. Actually, pretty damn lucky I only had amnesia.
Yes, you humans are rather buggered in those terms. To strip you of life is, well, it's just plain easy. I've always pitied you in that regard. We vampires are much harder nuts to crack. If a member of another race kills one of us, we can be reborn with a living higher vampire's help. However, if one of our own strikes the deadly blow, death is permanent. There can be no rebirth. One of the chief reasons why vampires long ago swore never to fight one another.
All right, give you one question. What do you want to know?
One question to ask one as fascinating as you, Geralt. Cruel parsimony, I'd say, but I shall do my best to make it count. If you were to die and be reborn as I was, in your new life, would you choose to be a Witcher?
Whoa, that was a good one. I think one, actually. But still. Why there's no third opinion on that?
See, Regis. Doubt I'd know how to be anything else.
Ever tried?
See, you're determined to get an answer, to find out if I like being a Witcher. Just refuse to ask directly, as always. I like being on the path. I like picking up a lead, a trail. I like the tension right before a fight. And nothing gets my adrenaline flowing like battling a beast. Even gotten used to people treating me like a freak, an outcast. Yeah, not something I think about much, but I like being a Witcher.
Thank you for being honest. Honesty is an attribute of the truly brave, and thus a privilege of the very few.
Still no sign of your winged friend. Sure it understood what you wanted?
Dead certain. Let's wait a bit longer. It'll return soon, don't doubt that for a moment. Ever vigilant, even in his sleep. Quite vampire-like, in fact. Are you absolutely certain they don't administer a few of our genes during the trial of the grasses?
Appreciate the compliment. Got something for me?
You were right. No kobolds or mamoons for miles around.
Knew it.
Allow me to finish. You see, there's this spotted white. It haunts an abandoned residence in the Caraberta woods.
Impossible. My brethren hunted down every last spotted white before I was born.
Then it seems you must revise your knowledge of spotted whites. For somehow this one managed to survive your brethren's onslaught. It seems I know this home it haunts. Recall a tale about it. Locals believe the place cursed. Perhaps that's how the whites survived entirely unmolested.
Know anything else about this curse?
I don't recall much in particular. Really don't attach much importance to such things. It was mentioned to me as an anecdote, no more.
Come on, search your memory. Something, anything could be important.
I believe it had a relation to hunger, or, perhaps greed, rapacity. Someone was punished for something...
Textbook definition of a curse, pretty much.
Sorry, Geralt, I try not to clutter my mind with the details of every far-fetched tale I happen to hear. What are your thoughts?
A specimen of a species thought long extinct, and a curse in one place. That a coincidence, or are they related?
Ah, professional curiosity. Personally, I've nothing against you delving into this dilemma, but please remember we need the whites' saliva. Nothing beyond that.
Whites rarely appear in the woods, even less likely to find them in abandoned human homes. They inhabit remote wildernesses, old abandoned cemeteries.
What's your point?
This might not be a spotted white after all. Your little helper might have made a mistake.
I sincerely doubt it. Ravens are devilishly intelligent creatures, and they've highly developed observational skills.
What exactly did they observe?
The area around the estate, it's covered in spoons.
Spoons?
Spare me the skeptical smile. I'm but the bearer of this news. Or perhaps this spotted white is a hoarder, or the spoons are somehow related to the curse.
Let's do this. Start making your decoction while I go get some saliva from that white. Uses it in its brews.
Do you imagine the white will simply sell you some?
Worst case scenario, I'll bring you its salivary glands. They ought to do as well.
For a moment there I imagined you asking the white to spit into a vial. Quite amusing as a thought, but the salivary glands will do fine indeed.
So, see you later.
Yes, till later. I shall start by perusing some tomes.
Tomes? Thought you were gonna make this decoction.
We require one last ingredient. Alas, obtaining it could prove a trifle toilsome. Thus I hope to identify a suitable alternative.
All right. Good luck.
And to you, my friend.
Spotted whites. The best defense against spotted whites, stay calm and leave them alone. Fragment of a treatise on spotted whites by Roderick Gilligan. Spotted whites were a subspecies of white which the Witchers drove to extinction. They were larger than their unspotted kin and owed their names to their numerous blotches and effusions. Spotted whites would most often dwell in derelict cemeteries and empty wildernesses, yet at times took to living in abandoned human domiciles. There they would indulge in their greatest passion, creating brews from their own emissions. When they not disturbed, spotted whites would not act aggressively. If threatened, however, they became very dangerous indeed. In the colder months, or when faced with an unseasonable chill, they would slip into a state of lethargy, making them easy targets. Even during their active periods, it is said the Witchers found a surefire way of besting them, based around careful casting of the Irden sign, or at least so claims Witcher lore. Necrophage oil, Igni, Irden. Umbra. An Umbra is merely an unclean conscience, one tormented by guilt and unforgiving wrongs. A man wallows in sin with loose women and can't sleep at night. They then invents hockey about some Umbra or Phantom and blabbers about it at the tavern. Sabine Odell, mystic and priestess of the prophet Yoda. According to some philosophers, everything we do in life leaves a permanent trace in the delicate matter which makes our souls. Evil deeds, especially harm done to innocent creatures, can torment the soul of a sinner and cause it to remain restless even after death. While traveling through Tucson, Geralt discovered there might be a grain of truth in these theories and folk beliefs. He came across a hermit whose sleep was troubled by some invisible phantom. Geralt determined this phantom was an Umbra, the ghost of a recently deceased knight who had committed a terrible deed while alive and now visited the hermit to demand forgiveness. In his wrathly form he drank her blood and systematically deprived her of life energy. The Umbra appeared to the hermit as a horse, but the evil deed the knight had committed was to flog his own mount to death. The knight's spirit was unaware of the demonic role he had assumed in the afterlife. Geralt managed to figure out the key to freeing the knight's ghost was to forgive him in the name of the hermit. Spectre oil. Damn it. Okay, look for the White Slayer. The weather, it shouldn't be that bad. God damn it, I thought that it was going to attack me. Door in Alma Estate. Tish, open up.
Someone tried to scale the wall but fell. Probably tried to flee the estate but couldn't get the gate open. Not likely to have gotten far. Lost too much blood. Someone tried to scale the wall but fell. Probably tried to flee the estate but couldn't get the gate open. Not trails taking me down the path. Lost too much blood.
The dressings, bandages.
What's that about?
The dressings, bandages. Where did I put them?
Forget it. Bandages won't do him any good.
What? Oh, but he breathed still a moment ago.
Breathed his last then. Bled to death. Legs broken. Femoral arteries ruptured. Wound like that, you're dead in minutes.
Gods.
What happened here exactly?
I was rolling through, fully loaded, when I heard screams. This one crawled towards the road, then drooped to the ground, lost consciousness. I jumped down to help him, dress his wounds. Then you appeared.
Pretty admirable stopping to help a stranger.
Truthfully, when I saw him, I considered it might be an ambush. The thought entered my mind, I near decided to crack the whip. But to abandon a man in need? It's simply not the decent thing to do.
Decent enough in many other places, believe me. Before you go on, clean your hands thoroughly and burn your shirt. Might also want to rub some thyme on your body to be sure. Smell of blood might attract ghouls otherwise.
Who might you be, precisely?
A witcher.
Oh. Do you expect some beast might have killed him?
See what we have here. Legs broken, but cause of death's the wound. Small but deep, edges unfrayed. Either a thrust weapon or a thick claw. Maybe a wyvern's. Tough to say, and... breastplate's unusual. Dented. It's got a patina.
An antiquity, I believe. I deal in these things, so... what's puzzling is... why did he don it?
Not likely to learn that from him. Might even know where he came from. Got work to do, so long.
Wait, I will come with you.
So be it. But stay close, keep it down, and don't touch a thing.
Something dark happened here.
Damn it.
Very dark. Good gods!
What the hell's this? Setting for a banquet?
It seems so. What's your suspicion? Did none survive? Gods!
Silver tableware. Elven engravings. Servant. Stabbed to death. Over a dozen blows with a sharp object. Some post-mortem.
I cannot believe this is the work of a man. It was a monster, to be sure.
Torso punctured with great force. Blow pierced hardened steel. Man on the high road. Breastplate was identical. Throats massacred. One mighty blow. Shield along sides old and dented. Sword ceremonial. And Shay handiwork clearly. Ceremonial bowls for little sacrifices?
Of what? Please, do not say humans.
Burn marks. Something catch fire, explode. Strong stench.
Something dark happened here. Very dark.
Multiple wounds on the body. All puncture wounds. Hard to tell what caused them. Victim's human, but the attire's elven.
Are you certain? How did he come by it? We've so few non-humans in Tucson.
Fled, then dropped to the ground to douse the flames. Didn't manage. Burn smells growing fainter. Might have been another luckier soul managed to flee. Doublet scorched. Wriggled out of it, tossed it, then ran on.
Perhaps there's no one inside after...
I know you're in there. Breathing's loud and clear. Open up. We mean you no harm.
They remain there?
Listen, I'm a witcher. I'm here to help you. But if that's gonna happen, you gotta answer some questions first. Who are you exactly?
Durant Faucher Plamondon de Safaran, Lord of these lands, and Chairman of the Society of Friends of the History of Tucson. We meet here annually to mark the anniversary of the Elfin Homage. But something like this, why, it's a first.
You mentioned them. Who do you mean?
Those, I don't know what they were, spirits. It all occurred of a sudden. We were staging a scene, the death of paying homage. There was a flash of light that blinded me completely. I heard cries, though saw nothing. Then felt my own robes were in flames. I broke and ran, threw off my doublet, leapt in here, and it shut and locked the door behind me. They pounded on the door. I thought they would get through. I thought I was done for, but in the end, it grew calm.
So while reenacting a scene from the past, somehow, unintentionally, you summoned a specter, a Korgorath, or a tube, maybe.
What? What now?
Best thing? You gotta do it again, of course.
Are you mad? Would you have this thing kill us?
No, don't want it to kill anyone. Precisely why I gotta do my job. Summon it again, whatever it is, and tend to it once and for all. Durand, think I can reenact the pledge? The giving of homage, alone?
It was a great, momentous event. The surrender of Tucson's last elfin king. You will need at least 3 individuals.
You know what I'm gonna ask for. Need your help. But I'll understand if you turn me down. No objections? Good. Let's get to work. Start by clearing the corpses. Got some time. Won't start the reenactment before nightfall. Things of this sort are a lot more likely to work after dusk. One last thing, though. My pay. Don't work for free, you know.
Understood. Just keep the danger at bay, and I shall be generous. Through and through. I will stand, or rather, sit in for King Ludovic upon the elfin throne, while you, Witcher, will play the Enche ruler. We must don the costumes. All must be just right.
Divethef, the elven king, hosted Ludovic in his own palace upon his own throne, amidst the blinding glow of a plethora of torches.
Don't interrupt.
We should add the cake-weight smile when people asking something like, "You mad?"
Divethef laid at Ludovic's feet a loaf of binnen and elfin bread, thus granting humans rule over seat-yielding lands. Divethef filled the ornate ceremonial bowls with elven wine, Gwinoet, the sweetest blood of the land that had been torn from. At long last, the elfin king grasped his sword and shield, thus symbolically passing command of his armies to humans. The elfin king, erect in his pride, drew his blade and dropped to his knees, thus acknowledging his final defeat.
Don't interrupt.
Ludovic then spake.
I accept your allegiance and shall return in 1 year's time to...
Ah! Look! Look! The statues!
Impossible! God's mother!
Damn, you're ugly.
The sculptures, they came alive. By what witchcraft?
Dunno. Specialize in killing monsters. Reviving them, not so much.
I may know what happened. The statues, you see, once stood in the palace of one Divethef. I acquired them a month past because perhaps I should start at the beginning. This Tefethef was to pay tribute to humans, producing statues of this sort each year. Yet he did so but once, for he perished in the massacre of non-humans at the foot of Mount Gorgon in the year 782. It's fortunate he did too, as Tefethef had planned Ludovic's downfall, for he sculpted not statues, but columns that masqueraded as such. Columns activated with words said in homage. Columns that would have turned the king and his bodyguards into so much colorful confetti.
Typical. Treachery embodied. Elves. Psheh.
You're no better. Elves were just defending their territory. You humans took it, but you still weren't sated. Had to cut the elves down, every last one.
You? What does that mean? You're a man as we are.
Yeah, in a way. Just ashamed to have to admit it sometimes.
Your words? They're wrong, Witcher. But I'll not let you leave empty-handed. Take this. Reward.
Farewell.
You do best to leave. Resume your path, Master.
Here our paths diverge.
How should we
Here
thank
our
him?
paths diverge.
Also, I'd split rewards with him. After all, he helped us. And yeah, our cool and honorable glasses. Now that is a sword. Ugly elves.
Here our paths diverge. Here our paths diverge.
Let's take a glance on the map. I wonder where... Indeed, we are here. Ah, I thought that estate actually was the haunted cottage or something like that. Or haunted estate. Hey, I like this music. We need to hear more of it.
guests. Never a good omen. What? Lost your nerve? Regis's Raven wasn't lying. Spoons all over the place. Come on. The spoons are beating out some kind of rhythm, a message, trying to tell me something. None shall sit and dine with you at your table. No spoon you have shall say to you, never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror. Sounds like a curse, all right. Somebody's clearly obsessed. Regis mentioned the place might be cursed. Can't be a coincidence. Need to look around. A pigsty. Need to search it thoroughly. Find a way to collect some white saliva. White's obsessed. A real collector. thoroughbred.
Stained diary. For a few days now I've been having these spells. I've never experienced anything like this before. It carries on, although I can't stand witchcraft and sorcery, I'll have to visit a herbalist. The dizziness has not gone away. Worst of all, it's been joined my pain, so strong that at times I cannot see. I've been to the herbalist, a repulsive old crone looked at me like she had seen a monster. She gave me some cursed mixture that I have to drink twice a day. It's not helping at all. Today, like every day, I looked in the mirror and I was lost for words. I usually check that I don't have any wrinkles or bags under my eyes, but today there are no wrinkles, but I'd rather that they were. I have hair growing on my breasts. It's horrible. It's got to be because of those damned herbs. I went to the herbalist to smash her face in, but her chambers were empty. She must have known that what would happen to me and begged it. My family is starting to suspect something. Although I'm cutting the hair back, which is growing back faster and faster. I've tried to put the idea out of my head, but I can't hold it back any longer. Maybe it wasn't the herbs that have led to this, but a curse placed upon me and by an old beggar whom I had to chase off one time. I want to hire someone who can find the herbalist. I cannot think, and it is getting hard to write. Loneliness, no family. Eat. I want to eat. Not a good spoon, empty spoons. Nothing. Eat. It hurts. Mirror. Lies. No. Ah.
Poor girl. Realized she was changing into a monster. Recorded it in her diary. Poignant. Spoon's incredible. The craftsmanship must have graced a rich man's table. Smashed mirror. As if someone couldn't stand to look at themselves. The monster. The journal's author, maybe? No spoon you have shall sate you. Whatever lives here treated that literally. Still searching for the right spoon. Sophisticated crafting. Tag bears a description. White's a true collector.
Spoon key note. This certifies the item up for auction. The antique spoon key forged at the Christopherson and Sons workshop in 1210 belongs to Smigol Circus, owner of the pheasantry.
Spoon. Pretty ordinary. Maybe a little old.
Decaying letter. Dear Master Lesieur, I know you track outlaws for pay. I have an unusual assignment for you. No doubt you wonder why I have drawn you out here and why we cannot meet in person. You see, in my present situation, any kind of meeting is very risky, not so much for me as for the person with whom I meet, for I am afflicted by a curse, or, as I hope, and why I have turned to you, the side effects of medicine given to me some time ago by a herbalist. Soon after I visited this herbalist, she disappeared without trace. I desperately wish to understand my illness, so I wish to hire you to find her. When you do, learn as much from her as you can about the medicine she gave me. If my suffering is a result of her wickedness, then make her provide an antidote. I assure you, I have ample wealth and will reward you with no small part of it for your services. If it turns out my suffering is not the fault of the herbalist, please let her go. I will then have a different task for you, because this shall mean I am afflicted by a terrible curse which only the gods can cure. I believe it was cast upon me by a certain beggar who came by the manor while I was hosting a soir her few friends. If you can find that vagrant, I will pay you double. Sadly, all I remember of him is that he sold mirrors. I am aware that it is not much aid for your hunt, yet I trust in your considerable talents and wish you the best of luck. Orlando Trastamara. Sold the mirrors? Master Mirror, perchance?
Woman's name scratched into this wooden spoon. Romantic. Skeletons. Doubt they came here willingly. This have anything to do with the curse? None shall sit and dine with you at your table. And it makes sense. Broken neck, indentation in the skull's lateral surface, smacked in the head with something heavy. Right arm bit right off, teeth all knocked out. Somebody tried to force feed him. No claw or fang marks, probably choked to death.
Guessed correctly. I knew it at once.
Actually does seem like a White's lair. Bit atypical, but still. Aldrin should be somewhere around here. Another spoon. Yep, just as normal as the last one. Aldrin I was looking for. White's not particularly tiny.
Well, that's creepy, I guess.
White's obsessed. Real collector. Thoroughbred.
Words of wisdom on beastly curses. Monstrous curses and their description. Introduction. Curses that change a fellow into a monstrous creature have existed since the dawn of time. They have a variety of origins and a variety of effects. It normally happens that a mage or sorceress casts a curse and the spell changes the subject. It doesn't always happen straight away. Sometimes the person who has been cursed changes slowly bit by bit. It also happens that a normal fellow can cast a curse, someone whose conscience is clear and who has done good in their life. Such a person can acquire power, and thus the aggrieved can place a curse on the evildoer. Such curses are strong and cannot be removed easily. Thus everything by which human suffering is atoned is long-lasting and painful. What a collection.
Spoon. Pretty ordinary. Maybe a little old. Thousands of them here. White's been a collector for years.
Incredible. I thought that these were bones. But these are spoons, actually.
Another spoon. Yep, just as normal as the last one. White's obsessed. A real collector. Thoroughbred. spoon. Pretty ordinary. Maybe a little old. Table set. White who lives here is getting ready for some sort of feast. White that lives here, definitely afflicted by a curse, and it's been trying desperately to lift it.
Alright, it's not that far.
Cauldron's empty, unfortunately. We just need some brew. Afraid he won't get that. No choice but to hide and wait for the saliva glands and their bearer. Need a spot that'll let me observe the cauldron.
Hide in the closet. Classic.
Not gonna hurt you. Wanna help? I've seen the words of the curse on the walls. Think I know how to lift it. Tried to bring folk here, convince them to sit at the table with you, right? Well, I'm gonna be your guest now. Your willing guest. Just need a bit for Regis. And now we'll tend to you. Need to get this right. Words of the curse were, none shall sit and dine with you at your table. No spoon you have shall sate you. Never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror. We can't use spoons. No, that won't work. You've been looking for a spoon that would feed you, but there's no such spoon. We need to eat without spoons. Open your eyes. You need to see your likeness. think it worked. Just not quite like I expected. Need to see what happened to the white. Won't be hard to find given its stench. Ugly bastard. Easy. Not gonna hurt you.
Eat. I must eat.
I'll take you someplace safe. So I took her by the hand and led her here. Seemed the only sensible place for her.
You did the right thing, sir. She should recover quickly here. Don't worry, sir. I shall see to everything. She is safe here and in good hands. She'll soon be back on her feet.
Might actually take a while. She hadn't eaten anything in over 100 years when I found her.
Horrid. Whatever brought this about?
Told me her story on the way here. Her name's Marlena. She was once the very beautiful and proud heiress to the Trastamara estate. One evening, when she was holding a banquet for friends, a beggar came to her gate seeking alms. He had a bowl and a spoon with him. He sat outside her fence and waited.
I've heard of the custom. An ancient rite of hospitality that obliges one to give food and drink to such a guest lest he depart hungry. To neglect the custom is to bring great misfortune down upon oneself.
Marlena didn't care a whit for the old customs. She drove the man off, saying she'd rather feed the leftovers from her feast to her dogs than to give the beggar anything. The beggar then broke his spoon, cast a curse. She was beautiful, so he said she'd never wish to look at herself in the mirror again. Since she adored feasts, he swore no one would ever wish to sit and dine with her. And as she even refused him the crumbs from her table, he swore she'd never find a spoon in the world that would sate her hunger.
A harsh punishment. I imagine lifting the curse was hardly simple.
Curses are tricky. They play on irony. Always gotta figure out what the catch is. Marlena had spent decades looking for a way to lift it. Transformed into a white, she stole spoons and lured folk into her home, trying each time to get them to dine with her. Didn't work.
So what did?
Someone had to sit down and share a meal with her, of their own free will. They had to eat without using spoons, and make her look at her reflection.
That's it? That was all it required?
Simplest solutions are sometimes the last that come to mind. Besides, when you're a white, it's pretty damn hard to find willing human company for a feast.
I imagine so. But, most importantly, it is now over. Please, don't worry. She will be in good hands here.
Thanks. Gotta get back to my business now. See you soon.
I thank you. So tasty. Oh, so good. Tasty. So wonderful. Thank you. I thank you. So tasty. Oh, so good.
Yeah, only one man could cast something like that.
I'm ears alone, Witcher.
In the dark.
Learn some fighting culture. Quite the pusser, Duchess. You're in Pusso, you think?
Indeed, this quest is very epic. I got goosebumps almost on every cool quest in this game. I really like it. Where's this epic tube? Biography of the Vampire Regis from the Quilt of Dandelion. Oh yes. 3-year-old Fiona Ellen Rhiannon, born in 1251, heiress to the throne of Sintra, Princess of Bruges and Duchess of Sodden, heiress to Innis Ar Skellig and Innis An Skellig, and suzerain of Atra and Abyara, daughter of Pavetta, see Pavetta Fiona Ellen, and the Urcheon of Erlenwald. See Emirwar Emrys, granddaughter of the famous lioness of Sintra, Queen Calanthe. See Calanthe Fiona Rhiannon. A shipwreck occurred during a journey from Sintra to Skellige, which took the lives of the urchin and Pavetta. Cyrilla's further upbringing was then entrusted to her grandmother. In 1260, afraid of the looming Nilfgaardian threat, Queen Calanthe sent Cyrilla to the court of King Ervil, see Ervil of Verdun, where the heiress of Sintra was to marry the heir to the throne of Verdun, Prince Kistrin, see Kistrin of Verdun. Though allying with Verdun and gaining the aid of that realm's army was at the time Calanthe's top priority, no marriage ever occurred, and Cyrilla returned to her grandmother's court. In 1262, during the so-called Sintra massacre, Cyrilla went missing. Hey, do you have any other good stories? This was cool, actually. Pretty nice distillery he has.
Think your friend's hand will make for a nice broth?
You've clearly honed your sense of humor. But we are not cannibals, Geralt. I took a fragment of tissue from the hand. It will suffice to prepare some resonance.
What did you do with the rest?
I cremated it, as our codex commands. A raven told me you'd acquired the necessary ingredient.
Pretty helpful creatures. Calling them often?
I try not to overdo it. But they can be so useful, as they were now, when I merely needed to be sure I could arrive in time should things go sour.
Managed fine alone, but thanks for the thought. Gonna need much longer to finish brewing resonance? Mentioned a last ingredient, too. What about that?
That, I fear, might prove troublesome. You see, to use the concoction to summon the memories of one, the solution must contain the blood of another specimen of the same species.
Shouldn't be a problem. I happen to know a higher vampire who should be willing to help. Right, Regis?
It's not that simple, I'm afraid. While you were away, I tried my damnedest to identify a replacement, but, alas, none such exists.
Not sure I understand what the problem is. Can't we just draw some of your blood?
The blood must be in an agitated state. As I'm certain you know, higher vampires can change their corporeal shell. As our flesh changes, so does our blood's chemical composition. To make a long story short, I shall need to induce in myself a state of strong psychokinetic arousal. In brief, madness, rabidity. And that stands to be very, very dangerous.
Dangerous? Why? I mean, you'll still be you, right?
True, but I should be highly agitated, in a state of fury. You know better than I that fury cannot be controlled. If you've ever seen an enraged vampire, you know very well that all who find themselves nearby will be in grave danger.
How will we handle that? I'd rather not have you lunge at me, claws extended.
That makes two of us. But worry not. I've thought it through very thoroughly. Details to follow soon.
All right, so what do you want to do?
We shall visit Teshem Mudna, an ancient vampire estate. There we will find cages suspended in the air. I will enter one, be confined. You will lure beasts there. Beasts you will then kill. The bloodletting should prove profuse. Abundant enough so that the blood scent will drive me mad. Wild.
Teshem Mudna. What's it like?
It is a place of torment. A torture chamber. Long ago, shortly after we'd arrived in this world, one among us named Kagmar developed such a taste and lust for human blood that in one night he could imbibe an entire village. This brought trouble on the entire species. Common folk wearied quickly of living in constant fear. They began to hunt us, seek the aid of mages and witches in tracking us down.
So what? Not like they could ever hope to kill you.
but they were bothersome. Forgive the comparison, but when did you last enjoy mosquitoes buzzing around your head? In any case, the other vampires decided something had to be done. Kagmar had to be caught and punished. A torture chamber was thus outfitted in the dungeons of Teshem Mutna. Inside it, a cage made entirely of a special alloy of silver, dalvinite, and meteorite steel. Kagmar was captured and locked in the cage, sat there over 2 centuries, driven to fury time after time, never able to escape. Thus I know the cage will withstand the fury to which we shall drive my humble being.
Little expedition's starting to sound dangerous. Think I better prepare.
I understand completely. Do tell me when you're ready to set off.
Regeneration potion formula. 8 measures of vervain extract, flesh and fang, sancurum, althantra, broth made of young mandrake shoots. Grind the larger ingredients and the smaller ones whole. Boil everything in a bronze kettle using crystal water. Consume the mixture twice daily in half-measure doses. Do not exceed the recommended dosage. My last thought before I succumb to sleep. My last thought before falling asleep. If there is no death, does life exist? Hate is a very interesting feeling. I have noticed that people improve themselves with it to great effect. Sometimes I would like to stop thinking. If we were to create a god as the humans have, what would he be like? People justify bad deeds by good intentions. I'm not so sure if there is greater idiocy. I would drink the freshly squeezed blood of an infant. I know I can't, but I hope that its velvety taste will send me to sleep. I strive to live like a person, and it means that I have ceased to feel good among people as well as among my own. Maybe I made a big mistake. I have always wanted to write. I am very tired and fuck it all. People don't think about the present. They usually remember old times or worry about the future. I have a feeling that my friend Detlef will die. I am sad. The reason I told him that we need to prepare is me picking this coffin. So now we're ready.
Regis.
Ah, there you are. Might we set off for Teshem Mutna now?
See no reason to dawdle. Teshem Mutna. Take me there.
In a moment. Just one last thing.
What was that?
Blood. Oh, the last favor the Raven did me. I've also taken some Sancurium, a solution that sharpens one's sense of smell. 1 drop of blood shall smell like a gallant to me now.
You crazy? You're a recovering addict.
Your outrage warms my heart, Geralt. But you must remain calm. I have no choice. As things stand, the die is cast. High time we set off for Teshem Mutna. My head's spinning already, and you're starting to smell quite tasty.
And you're starting to scare me.
We have arrived. The sacrificial chamber of torture and torment lies underground.
Sure you know what you're doing?
I can only hope I do. Please, let's go. The longer we delay, the less control I shall have of my faculties. I'd really prefer not to hurt you.
You lead. Scurvers must be getting close to their feeding ground.
Correct. I told you there'd be danger. Beyond this wall lies...
An ancient vampire dungeon. Seen a lot of things in my time. Nothing quite like this, though.
I feel honored. A man with such a wealth of experience, yet I'm about to show him something new. Now, to open it.
How the hell?
It's an ancient form of protection against unwanted guests. The mechanism which releases the latch reacts only to a higher vampire's blood.
Tricky mechanisms, a vampire hideout. Fortified, secured. Must have been important to your species once, Toussaint.
It shall always be so. During the conjunction, the gate from our world into this one opened upon this land and no other. This was the first place we saw.
Human husbandry and care. This for real?
The most important aspect of raising human livestock is to provide the herd with conditions that, on the one hand, guarantee their survival, but on the other hand, do not extend too far beyond the minimum needed for that survival. It should be borne in mind that people are creatures bestowed with great intelligence, or rather cunning and instincts that allow them to gain as much as possible from their environment. In terms of husbandry, this means humans will always try to obtain more than we give them. It is recommended, therefore, to provide each individual with a place to sleep, a meal twice a day, and permanent access to water. These conditions, which might seem overly luxurious to some, ensure the optimal production of high-quality hemoglobin. More details on diet in later chapters. Also essential is access to air, without which humans die within minutes. There is no need to be concerned about the ability for human livestock to multiply in the conditions described above. If they are ensured a minimal existence and male and females are mixed, they will copulate irrespective of whether they are in captivity or not. It is worth mentioning here that there is a school of thought that suggests treating human livestock with greater freedom and care, including providing them with better quality fodder and a certain degree of freedom. This allegedly ensures a greater amount of favorable elements in the blood and makes it tastier. However, it is worth mentioning that this method of husbandry is much more difficult and requires emotional bonding techniques, which will be discussed in the following chapters.
The author observed humans, their behavior, over the many years he spent breeding them. Morally suspect though it may be, it's a thorough survey of the topic.
Champion of Teshan Mutna. I am he who serves the tribe. Exalted above man, I renounce human weakness. Uplifted above man, I become keeper of my flock. Filled with strength, I turn my sword against the enemies of the tribe. I am master and slave. I am executor of the will of the tribe. I accept this sword and this armor so I may serve the tribe. Who's that guy?
This place. There's evil here. Death hangs in the air.
Yes. A great many beings have breathed their last here.
Glyphs are carved into the rock. Coated with blood used to be. They mean something?
They're emblems, symbols of, well, what you would call tribes, dispersed throughout the world after the conjunction. My ancestors placed them here to remind us of where we came from.
And this one? Which tribe's this?
Garisham, my tribe, and Deadlouse. We both remained in this part of the world.
What's this symbol mean?
It's the symbol of the Tedet, those who went east beyond the Blue Mountains.
Battery Cage versus free-range humans.
Seems your kind assembled a peculiar little library.
In recent decades, many of us have come to believe that a much more effective way of obtaining good quality human blood than hunting individuals is their systematic, controlled husbandry. Apart from the obvious advantages, such as being able to control what the flock eats and the ability of crossbreed specific individuals to obtain offspring with the best hemoglobin, another clear advantage to breeding human flocks is that domesticated humans held in confinement, as opposed to those in their natural habitat, in villages and towns, becomes less aggressive and therefore less troublesome. When it comes to farming humans, there are various schools, of which two seem to have gained the widest acceptance in recent times, namely battery cage and free-range husbandry. This thesis describes in detail the advantages and disadvantages as well as the methods of carrying out each type of breeding. As an introduction, it is worth mentioning the basic differences between both types. Battery cage human husbandry, described very accurately and in detail in the book Human Husbandry, is the placing of several male and female individuals in a closed, restricted space with permanent access to air, food and water. This form of breeding differs from free range in that the flock is not permitted to leave the breeding area and is held captive the entirety of their lives. Free range, on the other hand, involves leaving the flock in its natural habitat or creating a habitat that stimulates it closely, creating villages, more on which can be found in the chapter Human Villages, establishing and growing a herd, and then making the herd psychologically or physically dependent on its owner. The most effective method for making a human individual dependent is guaranteeing its safety and permanent access to high-quality feed. It is worth adding that a human that trusts its owner does not feel fear and does not defend itself when having its blood drunk, which limits the production of adrenaline and cortisol, which have a negative impact on the taste of the blood. Furthermore, it may happen that a domesticated free-range human may feel a certain pleasure when its owner drinks its blood, most likely associated with sexual tension, which causes an intensification in the blood's flavor.
Indeed, though I personally did not lay a hand to it.
Whoa. I don't like it. By the way, we wear glasses and the mask simultaneously. There, that's better. It's heavy armor, by the way.
It's not far now, Geralt.
cells. Who for?
Ah, disgraceful. Excruciatingly so, this particular page from our history. I'd rather not summon the demons of the past if it's all right with you.
And this one? Which tribe's this?
Garisham. My tribe, and Dettlaff's. We both remained in this part of the world.
Whose is this glyph?
Amarun. They ventured beyond the sea.
What's this symbol mean?
It's the symbol of the Tedet. Those who went east beyond the Blue Mountains.
Transcript of a conversation with a lower being. Transcript of a conversation between Master Ezekiel, Hildegard, and a human being. Who are you? My name is Alex Bisquan. Why is all your skin trembling? I'm scared, sir. You're scared? I don't understand. You don't know what fear is, sir. No, I have mastered your language, yet some concepts are beyond me. What is fear? It's a feeling that destroys every other feeling. It controls your head and your heart. What do you mean? I thought it was a kind of pain. I have carried out tests in my laboratory on people, and I discovered that a mother subject to appropriate stimuli is able to forget about her child and think only about how to avoid pain. So fear would be similar to pain? No, pain rules the body, but fear is born in the heart. Oh yes, what you say is very interesting. I think I will have to examine your heart in the laboratory. What do you mean, examine? I mean examine. Take it out and subject it to a proper examination. But sir, that would kill me. Yes, your mortality is a great inconvenience, but it was not me who created your species, and I am not responsible for its excessive frailty. The conversation was carried out in human language and such it was written down. The transcription does not need translating. Notes of Tesha Mutna prisoner. I found a piece of parchment that fell from the pocket of one of the monsters. I also have a lump of coal. I would write this in my own blood, but I have hardly any left. I am cold. Every third day they come and open my veins, after which I cannot move. I can't go on much longer. From the next cage I hear the howls of terrified people. If I had the strength, I would smash my head against the bars. I hope it won't go on much longer. Aloha from the cage next to me died yesterday. They drank him to death. This must have irritated them because I heard them arguing in their strange language. They brought new people this morning. You could say that a supply of fresh blood arrived. They have no idea what they are in for. My only comfort is that I know already that I won't have to live through the terror that I felt the first time they came for me. I had no idea what they wanted until they pulled out their shiny instruments. I have never seen such beautiful metal. My blood glistened a purple silvery color in those instruments.
Charming place. But what are all those cages for? Mentioned one vampire being kept here.
Yes, well, you see, humanitarians is something my ancestors were not. They concluded Kagmar would best be punished if he were tormented with the scent of blood he could not taste. Thus, they also kept humans here. Humans whose blood they slowly let. Khagmar ranted and raged in pain as those humans slowly bled to death.
They treated them like livestock, live bait.
I'd like to be able to turn back time, deny it, but alas, I can do neither. Feel shame for my brethren. That is all I can do.
Don't take it so hard. Nothing you could have done about it. Let's get to work.
Well, that was awkward. Fine. I prepared the bait. Please be so kind and place it, ideally at the tunnel entrances. The scent will spread most effectively then. Place the bait at the tunnel entrances. Monsters will catch its scent more quickly.
When I think how these tunnels got here, send shivers.
It was the natural order of things. The place reeked of death and it attracted necrophages.
I even got wine here. To celebrate?
Three done. One left. Think this'll work?
I certainly hope so. The meat stench is so thick, I wager it carries clear to no ground.
Bait set. What now?
I shall enter the cage. You must chain me inside. The bars are made of an alloy that will prevent me from transforming into mist.
Kinda thought you wouldn't want to.
I shall be in great pain. My sole thought being to stop that pain.
I cannot know what I will do.
We must hurry. The beasts have caught the scent, so my head started spinning.
That the blood?
Someone who's never experienced a vampire's bloodlust does not know the true meaning of thirst.
Maybe we need a safe word. You know, something you'll say when you can't take it anymore.
And what did you do once I uttered it?
Don't know. Calm me down. Somehow.
Please.
It's not the blood. Good. 'Cause I can feel more coming.
Hold on, I'll let you out.
Scent won't bother me. Get you out of here.
The concoction.
You can't finish it in this state. Tell me how. I'll help you. Any better?
Far from ideal. And some time must pass before I fully recover. But yes, a bit better, thank you.
Never expected it to be like that. You didn't tell me.
We need not discuss it.
But we do. Because if I'd known you were going to subject yourself to torture...
What would you have done?
Found Dettlaff some other way.
I did not wish you to use any other way. Did that occur to you?
No, because I thought no being would ever willingly subject itself to that kind of pain. You vampires aren't any different from us in that regard.
I told you, the pain is my way of paying my debt. The enormous debt I owe Dettlaff. If I had to do it again, I would in a heartbeat.
Resonance. It's ready.
Are you certain you followed the formula? The proportions were exact, the brewing time precise. This is important, Geralt. The slightest deviation could cost even a witcher dearly.
Relax. Got some experience brewing potions.
Very well. In that case, let's begin.
Excuse me. I shall only take a moment.
You jumped the queue, sir.
But Count, sir, you must understand. I've a meeting. The Count...
Sir, you were next. Please, take a seat. This gentleman was here first. Step down or you shall regret it.
Ah, fails to realize he was your friend, Count.
It was then I ordered him to give up his seat and step off the stand. If only you'd seen his face. We got him good, didn't we, Dettlaff? And then Mother insisted we buy the mill. Curious, eh? But at least I've a yarn to spin for friends and associates.
Forgive me.
What?
Awake at last. You writhe like a squirrel caught in a snare. I'd begun to fear they were death throes, that you'd departed.
Sure wasn't pleasant, but it worked.
What did you see?
Delacroix. His death did not come easy. Seems Dettlaff had made friends with him, still killed him, and chopped up his corpse. And he was overcome with fury, remorse, cut off the hand that had committed the murder.
Interesting. And entirely unlike the Dettlaff I know. See anything else?
Saw a moment. Delacroix did something selfless. Was kind to Dettlaff. Guess it could have been the start of their friendship.
Why the uncertainty?
Nothing extraordinary about it. Normal, everyday situation, really. Visions were supposed to issue from strong emotions.
Clearly the situation provoked such emotions in Dettlaff. Keep in mind, he did later murder Delacroix. Killing someone who's grown dear to us, it's bound to elicit strong emotion. Vampires are no different in that regard. Did you see anything else?
There was something. Showed up twice in the vision. A bootblack stand. Dettlaff first met Delacroix there. Went back after the murder, actually.
Peculiar.
Stand was somewhere in the Port District. And the bootblack acted as if he knew Dettlaff.
That would be even odder. Perhaps we should have a chat with the lad. Though I would expect no breakthroughs.
It's our only lead. I'll go talk to him. Coming with?
I shall join you later if it's no trouble. I don't yet feel strong enough to venture out.
That's fair. Rest up. Be back as soon as I learn anything.
Not now, Geralt. I cannot move a step without your assistance. Not now, Geralt. I cannot move a step without your assistance.
Alright, I think that's everything for today. And I wish you a good night. With sweet dreams. And until we meet next time, wish you a good night. And see you around. Bye.